Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, classic / non-classic. This is episode number 539 and Doubleshot number 446. Two trades, one is a Spider-Man trade, the other of course is a Captain America trade. First up, it's a Spider-Man trade, and it is Spider-Man Miles Morales Volume 3. Collecting Spider-Man Volume 2, issues 15 through 21. Yeah, these were the last issues released for this series before the series returned to its triple edition number. Yeah, this is the third trade I've reviewed recently. First it was Avengers and Daredevil, now it's this one, basically the last trade before it returned to its triple edition numbering. Yep. Now there's about a couple different stories in here. I mean, the first one is simply, well, Miles' mother finding out that he's Spider-Man and her not taking it too well. It takes a little while to get to it. Yeah. Yeah. And then you have it where Hammerhead and of course stuff with Miles and his mother. And of course at the end of issue 16, I think it was issue 16. Yeah, 16 beats up a bar. In 17, it's all about Bombshell this one. She gets in a fight with Hammerhead and he puts her in the hospital. And then in the very same issue, like right after she gets put into the hospital, Spider-Man goes to the nightclub and beats the living crap out of Hammerhead. Well, this is Miles anyways. Though it was later retconned pages Defenders. While this was going on, Diamondback is actually in this nightclub. Also, he's even referencing here as well, because, well, for some reason, Bendis made, well, Blackhead an enemy of Miles. Even had, well, just before it looked like it was going to have Hammerhead kill Spider-Man, Gold Ball shows up, leashes his gold balls. I'm sure Hammerhead is like, what the heck is this? Yeah. I'm sure he's probably thinking, like, what the heck is this? What's all these gold balls? Gold balls, gold balls. It's so funny. Absolutely the most hilarious thing. And of course, Miles went to the hospital. Thanks to his mother being the administrator of this place, he was able to avoid being police alerting about him. And of course, it was revealed at the end of the issue that Luna is in love with Miles. In issue 19, just another standalone issue. Focus on Genki. Yeah, but just a standalone issue focus on Genki. And then 20 and 21 is by far my favorite issues of this thing. You see, Miles is sent to Tokyo to take down Tomy, the Techno Golem. Yeah, a villain from Bendis' run for Invincible Iron Man, which when this was coming out, he's still doing it. And after of course, Miles takes him down because, well, S.H.I.E.L.D. is gone, so, yeah, they mentioned S.H.I.E.L.D.'s gone, so I guess they figure, though, I guess Bendis figured, though, that he's leaving Marvel soon, so why not tie up this loose end by getting this villain captured? And, okay, this is interesting. And then simply put, at the end of the last issue, now, this is by far not been followed up on because, well, Spider-Man, of course, Miles is fighting his own verse of the Sinister Six. Excuse me, there's also a flashback featuring Aaron Davis, Miles' uncle. Yes. And the last issue ends with appearance by a character who has never appeared in a book written by Brian Michael Bendis. Who is this character? Nathan Summers, a.k.a. Cable. Yeah. When I told my friends about this last year, they were like, what? Cable in Spider-Man? In a book written by Brian Michael Bendis? That's different. As far as I know, this has not been followed up on because right after this, of course, was Sinister Six, which that'll probably be volume 4, per se. Yeah. But luckily, if I do appreciate for this trade actually makes sense for the starting point for Miles. They have the complete collection books 1 through 3, which collect his entire 2 series of Ultimate Comics Spider-Man Volume 2, all 28 issues. I believe pretty much from that point up until I think it was up until Secret Wars. And of course, you have the first 2 volumes of this and Sitting in a Tree, which is a crossover with Spider-Gwen. And of course, what happened in that story is referenced in here as well. He says, "Oh yeah, I made up with Spider-Woman," and Genki would be like, "Okay, he could have explained it. Yeah, this was a Spider-Woman from a different universe. Yeah, but it was an offhand reference." But by far, probably the 2 best issues in here, the best issues in here is the Miles versus Hammerhead, which that was an awesome fight, and of course Miles going to Tokyo and being a spy. That would be interesting though, if in fact that his next storyline came right after that, if they would have continued this instead of having fight the Sinister Six. But hey, at least he gets his own Sinister Six, which is something. Well, for this book, I'm gonna give this book a 9.5 out of 10. This is just good. Yep. Though it's only containing 7 issues, which I'm like, I kind of get the reason why they collect all the way to 21, which makes sense because 21 was the last issue of that volume before it became restored to triple numbering with issue 234. Alright? Next up is Captain America, Secret Empire, which collects the tie-ins for Secret Empire for Captain America Steve Rogers, 17 and 19, which, by the way, those are the last 3 issues for that series. Excuse me. And Captain America Sam Wilson, 22-24, written by Nick Spencer and Danny Costas. Danny Costas he co-writes some stuff with Nick Spencer. Yeah, he writes 18-19 of Steve Rogers and the last issue of Sam Wilson. With artwork for the Sam Wilson book, let's see. We have Stan Iskini, I think that's how you pronounce the person's name. He does issue 22. 23-24 done by Joe Bennett and Joe Pamato. The 3 Steve Rogers issues, the first one is done by Andreas Galanquillo and Ramon Bachis. So 18-19 is done by Javier Pina and of course Andreas Guno. Yeah, Andreas Ganudo. Yeah, this person does all 3 issues. And for Sam's perspective, it's simply put what he was up to during Secret Empire. It wasn't until the last issue that's printed in here he puts on his costume again. Because at the end of issue 21, he gave up being Captain America. So, give it back to Steve, and of course right after they became Secret Empire. If you just read this and don't read Secret Empire, you're like, what the heck is going on here? Yeah, and of course, Steve being a dick, and there's also a point I've got to make in here. There's an issue here, I believe it's issue 19, I think it's 17, where he has a sit-down interview with Sally Field. She's a reporter from the Daily Bugle, and because she mentioned the events of what happened in Secret Empire number 2, when Hydra blew up Las Vegas. Yeah, because she referenced that, she got thrown in jail. And as far as I know, she's still there. She has never been released. Did anybody break her out? Nope. Yeah, this plot point, as far as I can tell, has never been followed up on. Yeah, it's like stuff happens. The only thing I found interesting in here was the fact that the stuff with Patriot in here kind of becoming Sam Wilson's partner. That was set up for the current Falcon series that's published right now, which is a really good title. I highly recommend it. And I love the fact that Sam still gets to be having an ongoing solo book. I mean, he's kind of had one since 2014. First as Captain America, and of course now back he's being the Falcon. Because apparently Nick Spencer didn't care the fact that he was Captain America in the first place. That was something Rick Remender did. Not Brubaker. Rick Remender did that. Yep. Yeah, so apparently, once you finish reading Nick Spencer's run for the Captain America books, you're like, man, it's like the stuff that Rick Remender did was just completely undone by the next writer. Yep. Also, the Green Falcon character, yeah, him and, of course, Patriot later are now part of the Champions right now for the Champions for a Day storyline. Yep. But if you're wondering when did Patriot first show up, he first showed up during an anthology book that was a tie-in to Secret Empire. He's a resident of Las Vegas, mind you. Yes, he is. And I'm trying to think. I think it was like New World, I think it was. Yeah, it was simply like a 5-issue miniseries that tied into Secret Empire, and that's where he first showed up. He was a survivor of Las Vegas, and he decided because he was inspired by Sam Wilson, he became the Patriot. excuse me, the one person I know of, I won't mention his name. He is not associated with Comic Frontline, though. He's on his own doing reaction videos. My friend Edgar knows who I'm talking about. Yeah, for him, when I saw his review when he first showed up, he thought that Marvel should have brought back the previous Patriot, Elijah Bradley. I kind of think that too, but this character is actually really interesting. But apparently just doesn't like change that much. I guess not, especially since this is currently right now the third person to call himself Patriot. Why do I say third person? I think it was Elijah Bradley, the original one. No, the original was Jeffrey Mace, the guy who was also the third person to assume the title of Captain America back in the late 1940s. As a matter of fact, he had the second longest tenure as Captain America for 6 years. And this guy's name is Sean, and he has a very good conversation with Sam of how he was inspired by him. He's a huge fan, though he's actually more a big fan of Rage than he is of Sam. Okay, fine, perfectly fine. But it's kind of like you kind of say that when you read these issues for Captain America Sam Wilson, it's just a backdoor pilot to his Falcon ongoing series published right now. In the case of Steve Rogers, well, it just, well, as the title says, it's not exactly, now, this is just basically extended upon a little bit of the main villain of the storyline Secret Empire. Well, Hydra Cap, which is basically, they changed his name from Steve Rogers to Sybil Rogers, because, well, he's a creation of the Cosmic Cube. Yeah, this is revealed at the end of Secret Empire. Oh yeah, and they said he's going to put on trial for his crimes. He says, what crimes? I have your face. Give it what you will. Yeah, and the way that Nick Spencer writes him, he makes him be a very interesting villain. But, and I have heard recently that he was picked to succeed Dan Slott on Amazing Spider-Man. I hope he doesn't pull the same kind of stuff they did when he did for Captain America. I hope he does kind of the style he did for stuff like Secret Avengers. I'll talk about this later when I get my opinion on it. But as for this is good. I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10. It's actually a pretty dang good book. But in the case of, well, the stuff with Sam, it just feels like, though, that just doesn't want to be Captain America anymore. Despite the fact the readers want him to still be Captain America. But apparently Nick Spencer just didn't care about what the fans thought of it. Yeah. So, 9 out of 10. Alright, that's it for this episode. Stay tuned for the next episode, which will be episode 540. Yep. 540. And Doubleshot 447, where I'm talking about 2 Spider-Gwen trades. Yeah, and the way they put these things in the trade is a bit bizarre. You'll find out about those in the very next episode, okay? But until the next episode, bye.